Happy draft day. I am Will Scott. Welcome in to Celtics Today by Chat Sports. On today's show, we're looking at an updated list of Celtics draft targets because before yesterday, the Celtics did not have a first-round pick. Now they do after the Kristaps Porzingis trade. I think Celtics fans still trying to process what happened last night. It was a wild turn of events. So here are the trade details. The Celtics get Kristaps Porzingis. They move up 10 spots, acquiring the number 25 pick. They also get a first-round pick next year that belongs to the Warriors. The Wizards, I think the losers in this deal, they don't even get a first-round pick. They get the Celtics' second-round pick, number 35 overall. They also get Tyus Jones, Danilo Gallinari, and Mike Muscala. The Grizzlies get Marcus Smart, and that's what's been the tough thing for Celtics fans to comprehend. Over the past 13 or so hours since this trade was finalized, Marcus Smart going to Memphis in this three-team deal. I also want to break down this report we just got on Malcolm Brogdon because Malcolm Brogdon was going to the Clippers in a three-team deal, but then some health concerns around Brogdon kind of led to the Grizzlies getting involved here instead of the Clippers. Adam Himmelsbach of the Boston Globe tweeting out right before he filmed this video, per sources, the Clippers' reversal on Brogdon was centered not having time to complete a physical exam. It's still unclear whether or not Malcolm Brogdon will need surgery on his forearm. Of course, that forearm led to him not being very productive in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Heat. But if he does have to have surgery, the belief is he'd be ready to start, be able to be ready by the start of next season. So I think a lot of Celtics fans are a little bit frustrated with the Clippers backing out of this deal because it led to the C's having to give up Marcus Smart instead. Who do you want the Celtics to draft tonight? We're looking forward to tonight in today's video. Who do you want the C's to draft tonight? We're going to break down at 10 updated draft targets. We're going to have Nick Roloff, our Chat Sports draft expert, on as well to break down some of these names. Noah Clowney is the first name we're going to discuss tonight. Now, I don't know if this makes a whole lot of sense for Boston after the Porzingis trade, but Clowney does become a more realistic target here for Boston. We talked about him at 35. I thought that was not realistic, him falling that far. But now that you're up to 25, I think Clowney's going to be on the board. Taking a look at the numbers this past season at Bama, 9.8 points per game, nearly 8 rebounds per game. Pretty solid defensively, and he shot 48.6% from the floor, and maybe he could be, kind of a bench guy at the 4. Again, Clowney now becomes a realistic target. He was unrealistic at 35. He is very realistic at 25, and I expect the Celtics to at least consider drafting Noah Clowney tonight. But again, does that make sense after you bring Kristaps Porzingis to Boston? Nick Roloff, your thoughts on the Clowney fit here now?
Yeah, I really like Noah Clowney as a prospect. He's got a great wingspan, good frame. Needs to add some weight, but showcases a little bit of a three-point jumper as well. Not really efficient with this three-point jumper, but shows the ability to progress and potentially have that production level in the NBA. I just question the fit, as you mentioned, with Robert Williams already on the roster, Al Horford, and now Porzingis. Does it make sense to add another big at 25? I don't even know if he would be available, in all honesty. I think Brooklyn or Houston at 20, 21, and 22, as those two teams pick 3 consecutive times, I think that's the spot where Clowney goes. We'll have to see, but could be a good addition. Don't know if he will end up going to Boston.
His stock has risen in the last couple of days.
Has,
yeah, because I remember talking about him as a target 35 last week, and now I'm seeing him going in top 25 in most mock drafts.
Yeah, Clowney's stock has risen. I think it's more because teams are willing to see that three-point shot improve.
Right.
And if it does improve, he could become a dangerous two-way stretch 5 big. It's a big if, but the potential for Clowney is very high.
Olivier Maxence-Prosper, the next draft target. We are discussing the forward from Marquette. This is another guy that was not going to be realistic at 35. That is now a possibility at 25. Taking a look at the numbers here with the Golden Eagles last year, 12.5 points per game, nearly 5 rebounds per game, over 51% shooting. Decent three-point shooter. I think that number has to improve at 33.9% from beyond the arc.
I'll say this, Will, on Olivier Maxence-Prosper. He is one of the best 3-and-D hybrids in this draft class. I think he'd go as high as 18 to the Heat, which is the rivals for the Celtics. He's a Marquette guy. He screams Miami Heat basketball.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Marquette in the Miami Heat system. So Prosper could go at 18 to Miami, but he would also be a great off-the-bench 3-and-D guy for Boston coming off. And 25 could be a real possibility to be there if he doesn't get picked 18. I think it's either 18 or he's going to fall to that later first round. But I really like Prosper's game.
And especially after losing Marcus Smart, I think it's important for the Celtics to go defense with this pick tonight. The defense was not great in the playoffs. Malcolm Brogdon saying that the defense might have been the reason they didn't win it all. So I think they got to get a good defender tonight like Maxence-Prosper. We're going to get you guys a video for the Celtics pick tonight right after they make their selection, number 25. We're going to get you guys a video ASAP here on Celtics Today. So be sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications so you don't miss our reaction to the Celtics draft pick tonight. Ryan Rupert, the guard from the New Zealand Breakers, could be a target here for the Seas tonight. In fact, Jonathan Givnoy of ESPN mocked Rupert to Boston in their final mock draft that was released right after the Kristaps Porzingis trade. Here is what he said about Rupert to Boston. The Celtics could go in a number of directions here, either grabbing a formerly highly touted prospect such as Derek Whitehead or Bryce Sensabaugh, sliding due to medical concerns, taking a wing on someone like Julian Phillips, or possibly adding a more veteran piece they hope can plug into the rotation immediately, such as Trayce Jackson-Davis. After losing some depth in the Smart trade, the team could be in the market for a wing with the versatility to defend point guards, as it has been quite a bit of shot creation with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White. Rupert's ability to wreak havoc with his 7'2" wingspan and high-intensity level could be interesting at this stage of the draft. Here is what he did in 31 games with the Breakers. I mean, nothing crazy. 6.8 points per game, 2.4 rebounds per game, 36.9% from field goal range. Should the Celtics draft Ryan Rupert, who has been mocked to the Seas by ESPN, type D for draft or type B for pass? Rolly, you're not a huge fan of this guy.
No, I don't really like Rupert at all. He has a great defensive game, and as mentioned in that quote, his wingspan allows him to create havoc defensively, but he has no bag on offense, and I think is more of a project when it comes to being a player that can play in this league, because if you can't score the basketball, you're not going to be able to find a spot on the court. So I think taking Rupert at 25 would be a mistake. If they kept their original pick at 35, I think that would have been a fine selection, but 25, no way they can take Rupert.
I'm with you, especially after the Smart trade. I'm not in favor of drafting a project like Rupert tonight. I'm typing P for pass. Leonard Miller, I'm very high on it. The guard from the G League Ignite, Scoot Henderson's teammate. He was at the 2, Scoot was running the point, and those two were a fantastic duo in the G League. Taking a look at the numbers here for Miller, really solid stat line in the G League, going up against professionals. 18 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, shot over 55% from the floor, 33% nearly from three-point range. If I am the Celtics, Nick Roloff, and this guy is on the board, I'm probably taking him.
I completely agree. I have him as my 18th ranked prospect in this class, and I don't think that he's going to go where I have him in my big board. I think he goes mid to late first round in that 20 range. He has a lot of guard skills and a big man's body. I mean, he's 6'9", 7'2", wingspan, 215. You can see in that picture, he's got a lot of muscle to him. He's got the frame to be a game-changing defensive player. And when you account for his jump shot struggling, that is why he's falling. But if the Celtics can have him come off the bench, be a high-energy defensive guy who can finish around the rim, and he's very athletic, so he can finish around the rim with explosiveness. Just got to figure out that jumper, and he could be a stud. I kind of like him as a Jeremy Grant-type prospect. I think he can really be a game changer right off the bat, and also, as he develops that jumper, be someone who is very effective down the stretch.
He's got starting potential, I think, for Boston. And you look at
Probably not right away,
but maybe by the end of the season. When you look at what the Celtics lineup could look like, they could have Brogdon at the 1, Pritchard at his backup, Derek White at the 2, maybe Miller's his backup. and that could make some sense here
It
for
would be
Boston.
fascinating to see how he fits in that Celtics lineup if he were to start, because you have to imagine if Brogdon's okay, it's going to go Brogdon, Brown, JT, Kristaps, and Robert Williams. So I don't know if there's a spot for that Leonard Miller in that starting lineup unless an injury, but he'd be a great 3-and-D wing off the bench if he could figure out that jumper.
We're going to be live on our Chat Sports main channel tonight, breaking down every single pick, no commercial breaks, the best coverage not only on YouTube, but across the globe. So be sure to hit that subscribe button below if you want a video from us on Celtics Today, and then go to that sub link from Chat Sports, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV. Going to be live over on our Chat Sports main channel, going live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So be sure to tune in for the best draft analysis. Nick Roloff going to be over there on our main channel. Bradin Poziemski, our next target here, the guard from Santa Clara, not someone we talked about at 35, someone we're going to talk about at pick number 25. I am a big fan of his game. The guy can fill up the stat sheet, nearly 20 points per game over in the West Coast Conference, 8.8 rebounds per game, nearly 2 steals per game as well. Pretty good defender. And then a fantastic three-point shooter, one of the best three-point shooters in this class at nearly 44%. I'm a big fan of Poziemski. Like I said, I think this pick could make a lot of sense here for the Celtics if they do want to draft a guard. Question is he going to be on the board? Probably not. Most mock drafts I've seen have him going top 20. Do you think there's any chance, Nick, that he's on the board here at 25?
I think there's a chance. I'm actually pretty low on Poziemski.
Really?
In comparison to others.
Okay.
Good offensive game, good shooter, yeah. I just question his ability to make that jump when it comes to competition, playing in the WCC. There's some comp there, but nothing too crazy. And I don't love his ability to defend. He can steal the ball decently, but he's not a good on-ball defender. Smaller frame. I think he gets targeted a lot, and I don't know if he's going to be able to play in big-time moments because of how much he'll get targeted on the defensive end.
Right. Let's get into our next 5 targets here. And what's really ironic about the name we're about to discuss, Nick Smith Jr., his pro comp for me is Marcus Smart. So you could draft a Marcus Smart replacement here with Nick Smith.
Yeah, Nick Smith is a really good player, and if you got him at 25, that would be arguably one of the biggest steals of the draft. Coming into this last season in college basketball, he was projected to be a lottery pick. I mean, he has all-worldly potential, just struggled with injuries, and he has a small frame, which kind of led to those injuries. He's only 185 pounds, 6'5". He needs to put on weight to be an effective defender in this league and make sure you can finish through contact and not sustain those injuries. But he has great touch, 3-level scorer, needs to work on his defense a little bit, but I think he really could be a catch-and-shoot stud while also creating offense for himself as a 4th, 5th option down the road, but being a scoring guard off the bench to start for Boston.
What do you think about the Marcus Smart comp with him?
He would need to improve his defense to be smart. I mean, it's hard to comp someone to Marcus Smart. I mean, he won Defensive Player of the Year a couple of years ago.
Right.
So we know how good he is defensively. Smith Jr.'s defense isn't there yet, but if he does, he has the potential to be that scoring combo guard that can defend.
Now, should the Celtics draft a point guard tonight? Right now, your 2 point guards are Malcolm Brogdon and Peyton Pritchard. Type Y for yes or type in for no down in the comment section. I don't know if Nick Smith Jr. is going to be on the board. I mean, before this week, he was supposed to be a lottery pick. His stock has fallen a little bit. He could fall into the 20s. If he's there, I would really like that pick for the Boston Celtics. Now, Jaime Hawkins Jr. is the name that was linked to Boston a lot at number 35. But the question for me was he going to fall to number 35? I think he's going to be on the board at pick 25. Taking a look at the numbers here from Hawkins Jr., who had a phenomenal career at UCLA, won a lot of games there, led them to the Final Four back in 2021, 17.8 points per game, I should say over 8 rebounds per game, nearly 2 steals per game, and then 48.1% from the floor. Now, some people might say that Hawkins Jr. is a reach, that the Celtics would be reached on him at pick 25. ESPN had him going number 23 overall in their mock draft this morning. So I do not think Hawkins Jr. would be a reach. Do you think he'd be a reach at pick 25?
No, I completely agree with you, Will. I think this is exactly where he'll go, and I think there's buzz of him even going before pick number 20. I mean, this is someone who is very experienced and could come in year one and be one of the best role players in this draft class and be an effective player right away. And that's what contenders are looking for. Miami, Golden State, Boston, Memphis. I mean, Memphis traded their picks, so never mind on Memphis. But players that can come in and make a difference in year one to help contending teams compete for a title are coveted in this draft class. Jaquez is one of the best, along with Olivier, Maxence-Prosper. I think Hawkins Jr. will go in this range, and I think he'd be a great 3-and-D guy off the bench for Boston.
Ben Sheppard, our next target here, the forward from Belmont. Nick, one of your favorite prospects in this entire class.
Yeah, I am so bullish on Ben Sheppard. I think he has all the talent in the world. You look at these stats. I know we played for Belmont, not the best competition, but 18.8 points per game, rebounds the ball at an effective level. The efficiency is off the charts. He's 6'6", has a good frame, good wingspan. He can shoot the crap out of the basketball. I mean, he's 6'5", 6'8" wingspan. And I just continue to think when it comes to Sheppard, how did blank team get this guy in the late first, early second? I think 25 would be probably the highest Sheppard could go, but I like him going in the late first round. He's an elite shooter, can shoot from deep, and also finish at the rim at a good clip. I love Ben Sheppard. A lot of Quentin Grimes in him. Would be a great three-point shooter off the bench for Boston.
So we break down our last two prospects here, starting with Kris Murray, the forward from Iowa. One of my favorite prospects in this class, and yes, the twin brother of Keegan Murray, who was a high pick last year by the Sacramento Kings. And will the Celtics want to draft a guy that can play the four after this deal? I'm not so sure, but Kris Murray can certainly fill up the stat sheet. Last prospect here, Cason Wallace, the guard from Kentucky. If you want to go point guard here, this could make sense, but I'm not sure he's going to be there at 25.
I mean, Cason Wallace at 25 would probably be, I think I said that for a different prospect, the biggest steal of the entire draft. I don't think Wallace gets past 18 in Miami. If he was there for Miami, that would be a steal. I think he goes lottery. I really like his fit with Toronto, Will, at 13. As they're probably losing Fred VanVleet, replace him Wallace. He's a great defender, needs to work on a shot, but Wallace can defend at a high level. So I think he will go early. And you know the saying with Kentucky guards, man, you just have to take them. Kentucky guards, he feels like always end up being good in this league. So I really think Wallace is going to go earlier than that. But hey, if the Celtics were able to take it, 25,
maybe trade up. They got the Warriors' first-round pick next year. They could potentially
trade up. They could package those two first, 25 and next year to potential move to 15 with Atlanta. I think the Hawks could be active today in the trade market. Maybe they decide to trade down and the Celtics go get Wallace at 15. I think I'd like that fit too.
Something to watch tonight. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/CelticsTV. Going to get you guys a video when the Celtics make their pick tonight.